Welcome dear students for the online class for the third semester BCA of the subject System Software of Kuvempu University. So today we are having the session number 20 of unit number 2 pertaining to assembler and loaders. In our today's online class we'll discuss about another scheme we follow in our loader that is called as absolute loader. So before learning about what is an absolute loader, let us have a short recap of previous class. And in the previous class, we have understood the two different schemes of loader, that is compile and go and the general loader scheme. Even in our previous class, we have understood what are the demerits of a compile and go and why we need to move to the general loader scheme. So with this recap, let us move on to the today's class. So the learning objectives of today's class is the student will be able to understand the basic concepts of absolute loader. And the session outcome will be to understand what is an absolute loader and where it has to be used. So now let's learn about absolute loader. So you have till now learnt about the compile and go and even the general loader. Let us see what this absolute loader is. To define, an absolute loader is a type of a loader in which relocated object files are produced. Loader will accept these files and positions them to a particular location in the memory. So here you need to observe about some few of the keywords there. One is loader. Absolute loader is also a type of a loader in which he is going to relocate the object files which are going to be produced. And the loader is going to accept these files and he is going to position them at a particular location in the main memory. These are the main work of our absolute loader there. This type of loader is known as absolute. You need to understand the reason why it is absolute, because no relocation information is required and rather it is attained from the programmer or the assembler. Thus, such a scheme is called as an absolute. In this absolute loader scheme, the programmer or the assembler should have some basic information or a brief information of memory management. And even there are few concerns which anybody who is understanding absolute loader should take care. So let me tell what all those things. The resolution of external references or linking of dissimilar subroutines are the important concerns which require to be managed by the programmer. So with this introduction of absolute loader, let us understand the same thing what we have discussed now in the form of a diagram. In this slide, you can see how the absolute loader is going to work. See, in the absolute loader, in the previous you can have different segments there. We have segment number 1, 2, 3 up to n, and for every segment we have attached assembler and assemblers, and they will be converting them into object code which has very primary important, that is starting address, and they are all connected to the absolute loader. Later this absolute loader is going to generate the object code for each and every segment and is going to relocate in our main memory. This is how the process of absolute loader will be taking place in our system software. So now let me tell a few more points about this absolute loader. See, this scheme of absolute loader is very simple to execute. Why? Because the allocation is performed by either a programmer or an assembler, and linking is performed by the assembler or programmer. Resolution is performed by the assembler. Simply loading is performed by the loader. So therefore I said that absolute loading is very simple because majority of the work will be done by the programmer or the assembler. Only the loading task will be taken by your absolute loader. As the name recommends, no relocation information is required at all. If at all it is necessary, then the task can be completed by either the help of a programmer or an assembler. So dear students, I think you got the fundamental information about what's an absolute loader, how it is going to work, why it is called as an absolute only, what is happening there to be called so, and I have said it is simple because of reason of the major task is done by the programmer or the assembler. Now let us discuss one of the important thing related to this absolute loader, and that is the algorithm for the absolute loader. So whatever the things I have just said now, they are put up in the form of an algorithm. So now let's understand the algorithm of an absolute loader. See, for the absolute loader, the input is the object codes and the beginning address of the program segment, and the output is an executable code for matching the source program. This code is to be positioned in the main memory. So whatever I am speaking about an input and the output, they are depicted very clearly in our previous diagram, which are been represented in the form of a segment and your object code there. So now let us begin with the method there. So first what we are doing is we are putting into loop, that is for each program segment do begin. You're starting a for loop there. So what you have to do in that loop is read the first line from the object module to obtain the information about memory location. So this is the fundamental thing what a loader is going to do here. So once you get your object module, you start reading from the line number 1 and try to obtain all the information about the memory locations. The starting address, say we call it or we label it as yes, in corresponding object module is the memory location where the executable code is to be placed. Hence, the memory location we can refer it as yes, it has been written in an algorithm as memory underscore location is equal to yes, and the line counter is set to 1 as it is the first line, while until you have to do the loop until you encounter the end of the file. So for the current object code, you start to do the following. So do begin, first read the next line. In the step 2, write the line into location s, then increment the s is equal to s plus 1 and even increment the line counter is equal to line counter plus. So this has been repeated again and again until all the lines or entire program is being scanned and executed. So this is the overall algorithm for the absolute loader. So dear students, now you even understood the algorithm for the absolute loader. So now let's have some MCQs related to our online class of today's. So the first MCQ is, in an absolute loading scheme, which loader function is accomplished by the loader? So whether it is been accomplished by the loader is going to accomplish a reallocation, allocation, linking or loading, and the answer is correct, it is relocation. The second question, the non-relocatable program is 1. What do you mean by non-relocatable program? You can get a question like this. So at that time, you need to know how you need to answer that one. So let's check with the option. It is one that cannot be made to execute in any area to storage other than the one designated for it at the time of its coding or translation, or it consists of a program and relevant information for its relocation, or it can itself perform the relocation of its address sensitive positions, or the option D is all of the above. So thus the answer for the non-relocatable program is one that cannot be made to execute in any area to storage other than the one designated for it at the time of its coding or translation. That is the option number A. So now you understood E1 what do you mean by non-relocatable program. We'll move on to the next MCQ, that is a self-relocating program is one which has what? So option A is cannot be made to exercise in an area of storage other than the one designated for it at the time of its coding or translation. Option B is consists of a program and relevant information for its relocation. Option C is one itself perform the relocation of its address sensitive position. Option D is all of the above, and the answer is a self-relocating program is one which one itself perform the relocation of its address sensitive positions. So the answer is option number C. So dear students, now in this online class we understood about the third type of loader, that is absolute loader. So session summary is the student can be able to understand the absolute loader along with its pictorial representation and an algorithm. So for further readings, dear students, you can also refer to the book authored by John Donovan, and the title of the book is System Programming.